นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ I pay respect to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Hello everyone. Good to see you again. It's me, Bhikkhuni Khemavamsi from Thailand. From Mahavanatutangka, Thailand. Today we're gonna listen to the Dhamma. It's from the Majjhima Nikaya number 22, MN22. Hello Manny, Namo Buddhaya. I already have attached the links to you all so you can have a look. It's called, it's called Alagaddūpama Sutta. Alagaddūpama Sutta. On English, they use the name, the Simile of the snake. I use the translation of Bhikkhu Poti. Actually, this is the long sutra, but I'm gonna, take out just some part that I think relevant to like the situation in Thailand now, which is about like the Bhikkhu and the like the education or the knowledge or the Dhamma. Hello Manal, I've been doing quite well. And how are you all? 15 days ago, like 2 weeks ago, I didn't, give a Dhamma talk because at that time I have to say sorry because I was very, very busy doing the Asaha Busha. And also we have to declare the Buddhist Lent Day. So I was very busy. So yeah, now we see you all again. Hello Maria. So the topic, learn Dhamma with wisdom. I'm not sure that you all have heard about the news of like high-ranking monks in Thailand, during this time. There are a lot of things going on in Thailand now. One of those things is the news of the Bhikkhu who learn a lot. Like in Thailand, we have like the Pali language course and Abhidhamma course, right? For Pali language, there are 9 levels, and most of those bhikkhus, reach the 9 levels, like very, very educated people, but still they did something very like really like bad. For the monks, we call palashika. It means like you like no more the bhikkhu. And in Thailand we discuss about this, like even you are the high ranking monastics, even you receive a lot of education in Pali language, in sutra, in the Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha. But if you use or you grasp that Dhamma wrongly, which is going to be in this sutra, if you use the Dhamma wrongly or with no wisdom, it's going to cause you, like you're going to fail, something like that. It's like you don't pass the exam of the Buddha's teachings, even though you know a lot, you learn a lot. So this is the important things of Pariyatti, which is like the Dhamma teaching, like the studying, learning process. And Paripatti, Patipatti is the practice, practice. And then Pativeta is like, rightly understand, and then you got enlightened. So these things have to come together, study and then practice in order to reach the enlightenment or the rightly understand, the right understanding. Okay. So this is like the like a long introduction. So now we're gonna learn is from MN22, the simile of the snake, Alagaddūpama Sutra. The Buddha said, some misguided men learn the Dhamma. So altogether, the Tipitaka, it can be divided into 9 categories, like the 9 main categories: discourses, sutra, stanzas, expositions, verses, exclamations, sayings, birth stories, marvels, and answer to questions. Some misguided men learn the Dhamma, but having learned the Dhamma, they do not examine the meaning of those teachings with wisdom. Not examining the meaning of those teachings with wisdom, they do not gain a reflective acceptance of them. Instead, they learn the Dhamma only for the sake of criticizing others and for winning in debates, and they do not experience the good for the sake of which they learn the Dhamma. Those teachings, being wrongly grasped by them, conduce to their harm and suffering for a long time. Why is that? Because of the wrong grasp of those teachings. So this is why it's important for us to learn the Dhamma with wisdom, right grasp of the teaching. Because if you learn the Dhamma, this is the Buddha used this word, misguided men, misguided, misguided people who learn the Dhamma, but do not investigate, do not really understand the meaning of those teachings, or do not use wisdom. They do not gain a reflective acceptance of them, and being wrongly grasped by them conduce to their harm and suffering for a long time. Suppose a man needing a snake, seeing a snake, wandering in search of a snake, saw a large snake and grabs its coils or its tail. It would turn back on him, right? When we grab a snake at its coil or its tail, and then so, the neck, right? The snake of the snake can turn back on the one who grabbed and bite his hand or his arm or one of his limbs. And because of that, he would come to death or deadly suffering. Why is that? Because of his wrong grasp of the snake. Sometimes you like careless. Sometimes you think like, oh, I can do it. I know what I'm doing, something like that. And because of heedlessness or carelessness or the wrong grasp of the snake, you can deadly suffer from it. So too, here some misguided men learn the Dhamma, but having learned the Dhamma, they do not examine the meaning of those teachings with wisdom. Not examining the meaning of those teachings with wisdom, they do not gain a reflective acceptance of them. Instead, they learn the Dhamma only for the sake of criticizing others and for winning in debates, and they do not experience the good for the sake of which they learn the Dhamma. Those teachings, being wrongly grasped by them, conduce to their harm and suffering for a long time. Why is that? Because of the wrong grasp of those teachings. Here, Bhikkhu, some clansmen learn the Dhamma, and having learned the Dhamma, they examine the meaning of those teachings with wisdom. Examining the meaning of those teachings with wisdom, they gain a reflective acceptance of them. They do not learn the Dhamma for the sake of criticizing others and for winning in debates. So they experience the good for the sake of which they learn the Dhamma. Those teachings, being rightly grasped by them, conduce to their welfare and happiness for a long time because of the right grasp of those teachings. Suppose a man needing a snake, seeing a snake, wandering in search of a snake, saw a large snake and caught it rightly with a cleft stick, and having done so, grabs it rightly by the neck. Right when you're gonna get or grab the snake, you should grab it by the neck. Then, although the snake might wrap its coils around his hand or his arm or his limbs, still he would not come to death or deadly suffering because of that. Suppose a man needing a snake, and then you caught it rightly and grabs it rightly by the neck. Oh, sorry. Therefore, Bhikkhu, when you understand the meaning of my statements, remember it accordingly. And when you do not understand the meaning of my statements, then ask either me about it or those bhikkhus who are wise. So this is, the first part that I would like to talk about. How we grab, how we, use the Dhamma or learn the Dhamma wisely. Right? The Dhamma or the Buddha's teachings very, very beneficial, useful. It's like a true gem, right? It can cure the heart. It can cure like the suffering, right? It can end all the suffering with the teachings. If we learn the teachings and if we truly understand and if we practice, it's just like we grab the snake by the neck. It's like we be able to use the teachings rightly in order to end the suffering. If we use like that, okay, it's gonna, bring us a lot of happiness, right? But a lot of people, sometimes they think like, oh, I learned a lot of Dhamma, I heard a lot of Dhamma, and sometimes they are careless. So they just, use the Dhamma wrongly or do not really, reflect, do not really contemplate the Dhamma, do not use the Dhamma in real life. So that's gonna cause, a lot of trouble. Just like the case in Thailand now, like many, like intellectual, like educated monastics, turn out, to be doing like the wrong deeds, like can end the monastic life. Many masters, many teachers in Thailand, when they give the teachings, they always say like, it's good for you to listen to the Dhamma. It's good for you to learn a lot of Dhamma. Some people can, learn all Tipitaka, memorize, many sutra. But what's the point if you can memorize the teachings, but are unable to practice it or to follow the teachings? If you cannot use the teachings in your real life, like what's the point to memorize it, right? So this is like the very important sutra that many masters in Thailand, give a lot of, mention about it quite a lot, because just like the Buddha used the simile, Dhamma teaching with the snake. Snake can give you like the what's it called, like a what's it called, the venom, right? They can use like a medicine or cure. Of course they have like advantages, but if we grasp it wrongly, carelessly, then it can bite, turn back to you and then bite at you. So how can we learn and how can we know that do we use the Dhamma just like, the way it should, that we should do, something like that? The Buddha said, ask either me about it. But unfortunately, the Buddha has long passed away, right? So the Buddha said, either me or those bhikkhus or bhikkhuni who are wise. So this is the importance of Kalyana Mitta or good friends. We need the good friends, just like Venerable Ananta mentioned Kalyana Mitta to the Buddha. Venerable Ananta, he said like, the good friends or Kalyana Mitta is half of the holy life, is half of the way that you can practice in the Buddha Sasana, the Buddha's teachings. But the Buddha said, no, do not say that. Kalyana Mitta is not half of the holy life. It's whole. It's the whole. It's like 100% of the holy life. You need to have someone as a good friend. You need someone to guide you, to warn you, to teach you, to like sometimes just like slap back and just like no, that's the wrong way and you should come back to this way. This is the right way. You need someone as the teacher, as the master, as a good friend, of course, to support you, to guide you, but more importantly, like to warn you when you do bad deeds, when you now you careless, now you not mindful, now you use the teachings for the wrong purpose or something like that. So now I would like to mention about the qualities of the good friends. This is from Anguttara Nikaya 7.37 AN 7.37. This is called Tutiya Mitta Sutra. Mitta is friend, right? So Tutiya, this is like the second one. And I already attached the links to you. Here in this sutra, quite short, but the Buddha mentioned about the qualities of the good friend. First, lovable. Second, respectable. Someone you can look up to. Someone who's lovable. First, like friendly, like welcoming, like for people to go and ask and go and learn with. Second, respectable. Someone who you can look up to. Third one, adorable, just like kind, compassionate. Four, being a counselor, someone who can give you like the guidance, teach you, And then five, being a patient listener. They have to have like a khanti, patient listener. Because sometimes when we want to know, I really don't understand about this question, and you ask the teacher over and over until you can, now I see. So the teacher or the master or the good friend should have the quality, be patient. Next, able to deliver deep discourses or to treat profound subjects. So not only like the easy sutra, the easy teachings, not only that, but the Kalyana Mitta, the good friend, should be someone who someone like the 12 links, dependent, like what's it called? 12 links of dependent origination, Paticcasamuppada, like, wow, this is like very difficult, very like a profound teachings. And they or he or she can, teach you in details, and they can, explain to you, and then you can understand. So you need someone who is like wiser than you, who can deliver deep and profound discourses, because we learn step by step, right? Now we're gonna learn like a simple sutra, and then from level 1 to level 4 to level 7. So we need to learn like a more and more profound sutra that is useful to you. And the last one, not leading or spurring on to a useless end. Be able to warn you that is the wrong direction. That is not right. That is not the way you should act, something like that. So this is the qualities of a good friend. And then there is like a here, like a stanza, I don't know, verses. The Buddha said, they are liked, respected, and admired. An admonisher who accepts admonishment, speak on deep matters, and doesn't urge you to do bad. The person in whom these things are found is your friend. If you want to have a friend, benevolent and sympathetic, you should keep company with such a person even if they send you away. You might like, why? The good friend need to send me away. The Buddha mentioned about, like for the wise people. For the wise people, you should have like a loving kindness, compassion toward people, but you should not like, you know, associate yourself with bad people or not wise people. You should associate yourself with the wise people, but you should help the one who is bad, consider like unskillful. So sometimes when you like, keep like dragging, keep, like yapping or, talking nonsense to the wise people, sometimes they're gonna send you away like, just go away for now. But you should not stop, going back to the good friend. So it's just like, two-way, interaction, something like that. Yeah, so now you know like the 7 qualities of the good friend, Kalyana Mitta. Okay, so it's important for you to learn the Dhamma with wisdom, to know how to rightly grab the teaching, just like you know how to rightly grasp the snake. Things gonna have like goods and bads, right? Advantages, disadvantages. So you should know how to handle it. Like the more we learn, not only the Dhamma teaching, but like a worldly education, right? The more we learn, the more we know. Like, okay, now in high school, now in like a university, like a bachelor degree, master degree, what's it called, doctorate degree, like a PhD or something like that. The more you learn, the more you know, the more like an ego that gradually like grow inside, right? Like the higher education that you receive, like the higher self-esteem that you have, something like that. Just the same, the more we learn the sutra, if we wrongly grasp it, if we are not careful enough, sometimes, not sometimes, like normally the ego, the mana, the ego, arise in us and grow gradually in us. Just like the Buddha said, some people, some misguided people, when they learn Dhamma, why do you have to learn Dhamma? To debate, to win the debate, to say like, no, you don't know that, I know more than you or something like that. And that is called conceit. That is called ego, the self. And the more you learn the bigger self that you have, which is very dangerous in like learning the Dhamma and also learn in the worldly education. So we need to have someone as the master or the teacher that can see like, now the self is bigger, now you turn to be arrogant, not good. Be humble, Just like in the Mankala Sutra, Mongkola Sutra, the Buddha said, Nivato, when you're humble, that is a good thing. Less conceit, less self or atta, that's a good thing. Buddha Sasana or the Buddha's teachings teach us, the Buddha taught us to get rid of the atta, get rid of the self, get rid of the ego, right? Be compassionate, have loving kindness and things like that, like all the wholesome qualities, like the virtues, not ego, something like that. So yeah, it's very important to know that this is like very good sutra. And then the Buddha continued to teach, Bhikkhu, I shall show you how the Dhamma is similar to a raft. The first part, the Buddha show us how the Dhamma is, like similar to a snake, but now a raft, being for the purpose of crossing over, not for the purpose of grasping. A raft for the purpose of crossing over the river, right? Not for the purpose of grasping, holding on. Suppose a man in the course of a journey saw a great expanse of water, whose near shore was dangerous and fearful, and whose further shore was safe and free from fear. But there was no ferry boat or bridge for going to a far shore. Then he thought, there is this great expanse of water, whose near shore is dangerous and fearful, and whose further shore is safe and free from fear. But there is no ferry boat or bridge for going to a far shore. Like here, normally when we learn the teachings, we tend to like familiar with this simile, right? Near shore, far shore, and the river, right? The near shore that is dangerous and fearful is like, when we, in the samsara, in the cycle of rebirth, death, sickness, aging, things like that. This is the near shore. The cycle of 5 sensual pleasures and sensual desire and things like that. Far shore is a simile to the nirvana, nibbana, enlightenment, supreme happiness, the true liberation. That is the far shore. And the river is like how we should cross over to that shore. Not only in Theravada, but also Mahayana, right? Just like in the Prajnaparamita Sutra. Near shore, far shore is just the same. And then suppose I collect grass, twigs, branches, and leaves and bind them together into a raft, and supported by the raft and making an effort with my hands and feet, I got safely across to the far shore. And then the man collected grass, twigs, branches, and leaves and bound them together into a raft. As supported by the raft and making an effort with his hands and feet, he got safely across to the far shore. What is it? Just like the Buddha did first, and then we try to, follow them. And some, just like arahantship, to be able to reach the far shore, just like the Buddha did. Then, when he had got across and had arrived at the far shore, he might think, this raft has been very helpful to me. Since supported by it and making an effort with my hands and feet, I got safely across the far shore. Suppose I were to hoist it on my head or load it on my shoulder and then go wherever I want. Now, Bhikkhu, what do you think? By doing so, would that man be doing what should be done with the raft? So what's your opinion? When we try to, cross the river, there's no bridge, no boat. So we need to build ourselves a raft. And then we manage to build a raft. We use our hands and feet, making an effort. And then we able to reach another shore with that raft. Should I hoist the raft on my head, or should I load it on my shoulder and then walk to, the land? Would that be like how we should do with the raft? By doing what would that man be doing? What should be done with the raft? Here, Bhikkhu, when that man got across and had arrived at the far shore, he might think, this raft has been very helpful to me. Since supported by it and making an effort with my hands and feet, I got safely across to the far shore. Suppose I were to haul it onto the dry land, or set it adrift in the water and then go wherever I want. So this is how you should do with the raft, right? Just leave it there on the dry land, or just set it adrift in the water, and then you use it with complete the task, complete the what's it called, objective, and then just leave it there, and then you walk up to the land. That's how you should do. So I have shown you how the Dhamma is similar to a raft. Just like that. Being for the purpose of crossing over, not for the purpose of grasping, holding on, clinging on to it. Bhikkhu, when you know the Dhamma is to be similar to a raft, you should abandon even the teachings. How much more so things contrary to the teachings? The teachings you should abandon. You should just leave it when you be able to reach to the shore. So now, why do we have to cultivate wholesome qualities? Why do we have to keep the precept? Why do we have to, practice, tame the mind? Why do we have to listen to the Dhamma, learn the Dhamma, practice over and over? It's just like we are now making an effort with the hands and feet. Now we making the raft. I don't know, like the point that we are now. Maybe we just, making the raft on the near shore. Or now we, like 20%, success, in the water, something like that. We don't know our journey yet, but at least we know that now we making an effort. Now we contributing factors for us to reach to the far shore or the true liberation nirvana. Of course, now we still need the raft, but here in this sutra, the Buddha said, when you reach to the far shore safely, you need to let go of the raft, just like you need to let go of the teachings, let alone the unwholesome qualities. You should let go, unwholesome qualities and wholesome qualities. Just like the Buddha said, Sapphe Dhamma Nalang Apinivesaya. All the things should not be clung on to, should not be hold on to. So this is the sutra. Not the whole sutra, because like a very long one, but the part that is, for me, I think like useful for us to learn, first be able to learn the Dhamma with wisdom. When we learn the Dhamma, practice it as well. Pariyatti, study, learn the Dhamma, and then patipatti, need to practice. You need to reflect, contemplate, notice, and be able to, use the Dhamma in real life. The Dhamma or the Buddha's teaching is not something in the textbook. It's not something that we should, like pay respect and then, keep it in the drawer. Not like that. But it's something that we should learn and practice. Learn with wisdom. We need the good friends because good friend, Kalyanamitta, is like the whole of the holy life, 100% of the holy life. We need someone who guide, support, teach, and then warn you. This is good. This is bad. Now you out of the way. Come here. Come back here. Something like that. So you need to have good friends. And then we learned about 7 qualities of the good friend, right? And then we learn that the Buddha show us the Dhamma is similar to a raft, something that we should use for the purpose of crossing over, not for the purpose of grasping, holding on to it. Because once we reach the far shore, once we reach to the land, just let go. But now we still need it. Now we still need the raft. Now we still need to make an effort with the hand and with the feet. Yeah. But just keep reminding, just keep, like for me, just keep reminding myself, like, okay, now we use it as like transportation, as equipment, as something for me to survive through the wave and, like expanse of water, like a river or the ocean. But use it wisely. And learn to let go, something like that. I hope you understand. Okay. Hello, Metraya. Hello, Maria. Hello, Shayanta. Hello, Andy. Hello, Pinan. Hello, Gregory. Hello, Krishna. Any question or anything that you would like to ask? We have like 22 minutes left. Many ask, Ayya, is there any specific Dhamma practice to remove ego? Specific Dhamma practice. I would recommend Anattalakkana Sutra. And then you contemplate about that. Anattalakkana Sutra. You contemplate, the teachings first. And then, when you like, for example, hang on, I'm going to find the sutra for you first. Here, Mahakantaka. Is it? Wow. No. It's in Mahakantaka. It's called Anattalakkana Sutra. Oh, sorry. Anattalakkana Sutra. Here, I'm going to attach the links to you. It's about not self. This sutra is about not self. And when you learn about not self, like, wow, this is like kind of difficult. For example, like, hang on, gonna read in Thai. I need to read in Thai. Just like when you see the form is like the body, right? The material things. I is not me. I is not self. If the I is self, like a myself, then I should be able to tell the eyes that, just stay the same, see the same, like, see clearly, just the same. When I was like 10 years old, 20 years old, do not age. Eyes do not age. Hair do not turn gray, something like that. If body, if material things or the form is yours, then you should tell them. Then you should be able to, like control and tell that you should do this, you should do that, you should be like this, should be like that. The hair should not turn gray. The hair should not fall, something like that. Or just like the feelings, happy feelings. If happy feelings is yours, then you should tell them that stay a long time, keep being happy. Do not turn to sadness. Do not turn to anger, something like that. You cannot control over it. So then it's not the self, something like that. And after that, the less self, less ego, because self is from the ego. Ego is from the self. So this is like, if you have like a true or the right understanding about the self, and it's gonna link to the ego. So this is like the practice that to remove ego. First, you have good friends to tell you like, now ego is big, bigger and bigger. And then you contemplate. Second, you contemplate the sutra or the teachings about anatta or not self. And then reflect. Oh, now I have a stomach ache. Now I have a stomach ache. If this feeling is mine, I should tell that do not feel pain. No, I cannot tell the feeling to go away or to be like this or like that. And then the more you contemplate about it, the more you're just like, actually it's many factors, contribute to this feeling. Oh, there's no self. Or even the knowledge, the memory is not myself. If the memory is myself, is mine, then I should be able to tell them, remember it 100%. Do not forget. No, I cannot tell the memory. So do not say like, my memory is better than you. No, it's just the same. It has many factors. We can remember more when we like 20 years old or when we're still young, right? But when we like 40, 50, 60, 70, something like that, when you're older, you tend to, like forget quicker, something like that. So it's just like something that's not new. When you contemplate about this, and then actually there's no self. Oh, actually the knowledge that we have, the knowledge that I have, actually it's just something that we give it, just the factors, but not really mine, not really I. So the more you contemplate about the self or not self, the less ego that you have. Wow, many say Pante Sudaso has given a talk on this sutra. You mean this sutra or the Anatalakkhana Sutra? Yeah, you should, learn this sutra. SN 22.9 Hey, Anatalakkhana Sutra. I don't know why I cannot find here. hang on 12.59 SN 59 yeah yes characteristic of not self. Yeah, this is like a very good one. So that's right. Hello Sooth, long time no see. Hello Ronald. Yeah, SN 22.59 Anattalakkana Sutra, the characteristic of not self. And then the Dhamma practices, like contemplate. This is anatta, not self. Is vipassana or insight, right? So you need to contemplate, compare, contemplate, reflect. Yes. Or you might try to learn about the anicca, like a transient. It's gonna change because the Buddha said, variable mekiya, the one who can see the anicca, it's gonna change, transient. Then they're gonna say, then they will see not self, anatta. And when you see the anatta or not self, like truly see it, then you can reach the true liberation, nirvana. So learn the anicca first. And this is another this is another sutra for you. Sorry. SN 22.33 is called Nattumhaka Sutra. It's not yours. So when we contemplate about it's not mine, it's not mine. The more you contemplate about it, like the less ego. Yeah. It another factor. We give like the factor for contemplation. Hello Krishna. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, a lot of sutra to study today. Sooth asks, dear Ayya, when using metta, does one try to gain jhana in it before seeing it as impermanent, or is it better to contemplate from the beginning? Using metta, try to gain jhana in it before seeing as impermanent. Contemplate from the beginning. Here, what I can, when you try to reach or to gain the jhana, is the samatha, right? Samatha meditation is called tranquility, right? When you practice the tranquility meditation, is to gain jhana. Before seeing metta as impermanent. Seeing metta as impermanent. For me, for your question, I think it's better to contemplate from the beginning. But contemplate what? Metta, right? When we do metta, sape satta. Here, I would like to, talk about this. When we do metta, right, we just like spreading the loving kindness, right? We know that we suffer, they suffer. Spread the loving kindness from within. But with that, because metta or loving kindness or karuna, compassion, still need like animals or the beings to spread the love, spread the compassion toward animals and beings. is kind of, I don't know, for me, it's kind of hard to like contemplate the impermanent by doing metta. You know what I mean? But when we do the metta, spread the loving kindness, love yourself, just like when you have like the water, you have to feel the water, and then until it pour out. Just like you give love to yourself first, and then until it spread out, pour out to many people. And by doing so, you reach chana, you gain chana by doing that. Sapphe satta, avera hontu, apayapasha hontu, sukhitanang pariharantu, and then you can just like you repeat the words. And at the same time, when you repeat the word and then like spreading the loving kindness, this process you gain chana. And then after the words, the repeated words, sapphe satta, sapphe, when that word, when it changed to something else, when it changed to like thinking, when it changed to the grocery list, something like that, when it changed to the memory, then if you can, now the grocery store, like the new one, and then got the new promotion, see, impermanent, new thinking, now sapphe satta, now it's gone, impermanent. So you can do like that. But if you contemplate the impermanence from the beginning, right when you repeat the word sapphe satta, I think it's kind of hard. So the point here, not to focus on to gain the chana, just spread the, when using metta, right, just spread the loving kindness, like for people who in the war, for people who like still have sadness, who lost their life or lost the lives of the loved one. I would like to give the loving kindness to people, just spreading the loving kindness. Do until you feel like, now this is good. This is it. I feel whole. I'm so happy. That's maybe, you gain the chana already. So happy. And then from the happiness, from the happy feeling, or from the rapture, from elation, piti, and they're gonna fade to equanimity, maybe, or fade it, or turn it to monkey mind. And when it turns to monkey mind, then no, this is now monkey mind. Even the loving kindness gonna change to monkey mind. Impermanent. Something like that. So I would like to suggest, when you do loving kindness, do loving kindness first. Give love to yourself, give love to people, to all beings. And then after that, when you feel like, I'm so happy, now it's time for me to do another practice. Maybe anapanasati. And when you do anapanasati, focus on the breath, breathing in, breathing out, breathe long breathe in, long breathe out, things like that. And then you can, contemplate about the impermanent. Thank you, Sooth. I hope I answered your question. Yeah. Sometimes I use loving kindness or, the metta, just like the first thing when I practice. Sometimes like, like so tired. Now I would like to give back to myself, right? Oh, I did a lot of things today. I would like to give back to myself. I want to help people. I want to, like give back to other people, other beings, all the beings. So I do the loving kindness first, the metta meditation. Loving kindness. Ahang sukhito homi. May I be happy. Ahang nitukho homi. May I, like not sad or something like that. It's in Pali, right? Ahang sukhito homi. Ahang nitukho homi. Ahang awero homi. Sukhi atanang pariharami. Yes, for me, for myself. You don't have to use in Pali. You just like, may I be well. May I be happy. Wow, you did a good job today. Just give back love to yourself and then spread out to all beings until like feel calm, feel happy, feel delighted. And then after that, shift the meditation object to anapanasati or to, for me, putho, recollection of the Buddha. And then, or to vipassana, insight meditation, contemplate impermanence, contemplate or reflect, not self, something like that. Starting off with loving kindness is going to give you strength to practice more. Okay, any more question? Tomorrow is the Uposatha day. In Thailand, we call one Phra or the monk day or the Uposatha day. Like, so now you know that, okay, maybe tomorrow we're going to keep the precepts from 5 precepts to like maybe 8 precepts, something like that. And then practice more, learn more, but learn Dhamma with wisdom. Okay, if there is no more question, then I'm going to wrap up today. That, learn all the Dhamma with wisdom. Be careful with everything that you learn. When you learn, you should like have someone as a good friend and also have, like be able to teach yourself, be able to warn yourself. Just like for the monastic, we have like a saying that can we warn ourselves? Can we, teach ourselves like this is bad thing you should not do? Can we do that? Like for me, like, oh, now unwholesome qualities arise. Now anger arise. Now desire arise. You should be able to warn yourself. And then try to, what's it called? Like come back and then reflect. Just like when you wash the mirror, right? Before you take a shower every day, you look at yourself at the mirror, right? Just like, do I have any pimple or any wrinkle, something like that? Just like that, you check yourself every day. Am I still on the right path? Wholesome qualities increase or unwholesome qualities increase? Loving kindness increase or anger increase? Ego increases or ego decreases? Something like that. Reflect yourself every day, just like when you look at yourself at the mirror before you're taking a shower. That's it. Okay, and then I see you again in 2 weeks. Before we part, let's say Sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, 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 Anumodhami. May you all, may we all be able to learn the Dhamma with wisdom. And may we all have the good friends, wise friends, and make yourself as a good friends to yourself and to others, so we can follow the Buddha's teaching with wisdom, with mindfulness, and follow rightly in order to reach the right liberation, nirvana, together. Nibbana Paccaya Hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a good day, everyone. See you again in 2 weeks.